Hello, this is Mark from Boosted CRM. Today I'm gonna walk you through a work order generation automation. So technically in this video, the goal is to populate a document that looks like this. So this is a PDF. So usually when a company hires another company, they sign a work order and all these fields that you can see, so they say, okay, who's on the client that is hiring, who's the project manager, who's the resources on their end, and who's on the basically provider end, and all the other resources. And then they usually have material provided, and they have payment conditions and status and descriptions, and they have a list of deliverables, which is, as you can see, a couple of deliverables. There are 2 and 3 deliverables here in this document, in this work order document, and there is a special terms and conditions, and there are signatures, and at the bottom there are Exhibit A about what needs to be done for this project, and finally there is an Exhibit B. So in this video, I'm just going to walk you through how this whole document has been populated, generated, e-signed, and attached and sent to everyone, which is hopefully going to blow your mind. So let's see. Now, I explained in the previous videos, we signed the NDA and MSA and populated the document, e-signed them, and attached them to the account. And now we want to create a work order with all the deliverables. And what happens here is basically when the work order is generated and we add the deliverables to it, we want ZOHO project to get involved for each deliverable. We create a task, we create a project, we create a task in the system. And in the system, we create physical inventory and functional review. So, for example, if a company hired another company, if you hire us, for example, Boosted CRM to create the automation for you, then we will give you physical files of source codes and everything that we do for you, and also the functional review. So you review our functions and functionality of the system we built for you, and you need to confirm that before this work order is completed and closed. At the same time, you need to pay. So there is a vendor and bill involved in the system that I'm just going to walk you through this, and it's very interesting integration. So please bear with me. I know people don't have much time these days, so I'm just going to be very fast, quickly walk you through. And here we're just gonna get all the emails, basically email notifications of this automation. So again, at this point we are in the account. We want to add a work order to the account as I showed you here, and as soon as I click on this work order record will be automatically created, and we will start populating the work order information. So let's do it. So I'm just gonna go full screen here and add the work order. I can add the work order from here, or I can also add the work order from the action, because the system knows that I already signed the MSA and NDA, so it's just going to go to work order. Now I add a work order, it's going to link it to this account and will create a work order. So I'm just going to call this work order 500. And here it's going to list all the projects in ZOHO project that are actually associated with this email address, who is a vendor in ZOHO project and ZOHO books. So I will show you what I mean, but basically it's not going to show all the projects that are in the system. It's just going to show projects in the system that are in which Market Boosted CRM is the vendor. So when I submit this, it's just going to create the work order record and directly jumps to that record, and it starts its blueprint, its own blueprint for work order. It's just going to generate the work order number, just going to copy the project number here. It's just going to decide who's going to be the accountant on this account to get all the notification for the accounting. So I'm just going to change it to my own name, so I get all the notifications about that. And here I'm just going to start. So as you can see, we have deliverables on the left, and this is a blueprint. So I'm just going to click. Here it's just going to show me all the information that I need to verify. And let's say this project costs about 16,500, which is actually this project was. And here I can see who's the project manager on the employer side, the company that hires, and who's the project manager on the partner side, which is going to deliver the project. And here, as I said, I'm just going to attach the Exhibit A, which is the document that we already created and discussed with the company to basically create this software or automation for us. So as soon as I attach this Exhibit A, I save this. This is going to capture all this information and save it here as an attachment. So Exhibit A will be attached to the record. Now I'm just going to go back up, and here I just can add Exhibit B. As I showed you, there was Exhibit A and Exhibit B at the end of this document. So I've already attached Exhibit A, which is this. And now I'm just going to attach Exhibit B. And sometimes there is no Exhibit B for this client. It means that if there is no Exhibit B, if I click on this, there is a default Exhibit B that we get it from the work drive and technically attach it, Zoho work drive, and we attach that Exhibit B to that record. But here I'm just gonna attach the existing Exhibit B that I have already saved on my computer. This is attached now. I attach Exhibit A and attach Exhibit B so I can add resources. Meaning, let's say somebody hires Boosted CRM and I'm Mark, the project manager. Is there any other resources? So let's say, yeah, maybe there are other resources in our company that will work on this and they might have different rates. So I can, add these people. So this is a test, but I can just create new contacts and associate it with this work order as other resources who are going to work on this work order. Now it's the time for deliverables. So I want to say, okay, what is going to be delivered? So I'm just going to create two deliverables. Deliverable 500, number one. And here are just for simplicity, I'm just going to copy these values. Sorry, quickly change this. For simplicity, I'm just going to copy these values, a summary of the deliverable. So this is the summary of the deliverable. Just paste it here. And the start date, so blueprint automation. Then the start date for this deliverable, let's say tomorrow. And the end date will be in 4 weeks. The net amount for this piece of the deliverable will be, let's say, 50% of the total. What will be delivered? Software, documentation, and files, source code, and everything. So I'm just going to save this. Now it's just going to allow me to add more deliverables so that I do actually have more deliverables. So deliverable 500 number two. And here I'm just going to copy this value, an example. And again, a start date, whatever, and in 4 weeks. And this is going to, let's say, 8,200. But it's going to be delivered software, documentations, and files. Now I save this. It takes me to the next step so I can add more deliverables, but I'm not gonna. It already added two deliverables here. So if I refresh this, you can see that there are two deliverables added to this record with these amounts that I just added. And I'm just gonna finalize the work order. When I finalize the work order, it says, okay, what is the date of the beginning and the end of this basically work order? So I would say this work order will start on the first of the month and will be end on the 11th. So materials provided. There are some other fields that I'm just going to copy from here, paste, and also this. So payment terms, it's a fixed price, and this is the terms. And the last one could be empty or just terms and conditions, special terms and conditions, whatever. Save it. As soon as I save it, I have all the information to generate the work order at this point. So I'm just going to click on generate work order. I already have two attachments here, exhibit A and B. As soon as I click this, there is an integration happening in the backend with the system, but it gives me an error because the total value of the work order is 16,500, but the sum of the deliverables is 16450, so it doesn't make sense. So I have to go back. So this system checks all this for you and won't allow you to make any mistakes. So if I go back, I need to add 5 here, save it, and basically now generate work order, and it's going to do it. This is also clearing all the unnecessary tasks and all the unnecessary documents in the back, so we don't have so many open tasks left in the system. So as soon as this is done, and you can also see that send work order to compliance for approval, which you saw in the NDA and MSA. So we are just is checking all the files attached that are correct. If something wrong, we'll let you know. If not, this you can proceed. And then now you can send it to contracts for review, or you can reject the request. If you want to reject the request, it's going to ask you where do you have problem with the work order. So I can say issue found in the work order information ABC. I found issues in terms and conditions XYZ. So I'm just going to mention as notes here, and there's no issues here. So as soon as I save this, this information will be sent back to the requester so they can see the notes, and they see the notes and the deliverable information. So they can go ahead and check this, right? And here you can save this and make sure that, okay, the note is correct, and you can regenerate the work order based on the right information and send it to compliance again and select work order to compliance for approval. So now it's just sending all these emails to compliance and contracts to get their notifications and tasks. And it always has an instruction to tell you what you need to do next. If you make changes, please regenerate the work order. If not, send the contract for review. You can reject it, regenerate it, or send to contracts for review. Now here is two variables that I can decide because this project will move forward and there's going to be a burn rate in terms of how much money was been paid for this job, at what point, how many percent of it has been paid, and how much time is left. So I can decide when I get notifications, when burn rate notice is at 100% or 50%, I can decide when I get notifications. So as a manager, I can see and have an eye on this project and how much time is left. I want to know when the 75% or 50% of the time left. It's going to also check these and save these. So at these levels of the percentage, it's going to send emails to notify the project manager about the progress of this project in terms of time and budget. So as you can see, I can now reject, I can regenerate, or I can upload the final work order. So if I go down here, this is how the work order looks like. As you can see, everything's populated, and it says who's the employer, who's the provider, who's the additional resources, and all these fixed prices, material, payment, schedule, all these fields have been filled, all these values have been filled. It's very similar to the initial file PDF that I showed you. And here is waiting for the signature, as well as Exhibit A and B at the bottom. So close this, go back. So here I need to just download this Word file like I did for NDA and MSA and save it as final. That's all. And this is because I have the power of changing whatever I want. Even I can remove paragraphs altogether because the client might want those to be changed. So I'm just going to save it and go back to the record. So at the top, I'm just going to upload this final work order, drag and drop it here. Make sure the file name is right or the system won't allow you. So final work order 500 right here and attach. So here, as you can see, work order cell is in drafting, and there are deliverables that have no status. Now at this point, I'm just going to send for signature quickly, checks all the files that are correct and the names are correct and they are all attached. Exit the blueprint, approved by contact, send for signature. So I'm just gonna get signature request as the partner, as the provider. So here I will sign as the provider using ZOHO Sign integration in the back. Very quickly I can sign this and OK and finish. As soon as I finish this, the status of this work order will change and work order is signed by partner. Now I'm just going to get another email as to this project manager of the employer. So the project manager now needs to sign it. So I'm just going to sign as the project manager. Save and finish. So this is all going again going to change the status here. Work order signed by Alpha PM. Now, basically, another email will be sent to the CEO for signature. Just gonna wait for that. And once the CEO signs, then the signature will be finished at this part. Request you to sign. Oh, actually, I got the email already. So here I'm just gonna sign as the CEO. This is the final signature for this work order, and it's gonna be fully signed and executable. So I'm just gonna close this, and you can see that now we have fully executed attached here. So let's take a quick look at this work order. Fully executed attached, all the information populated automatically. Three files were merged, Exhibit A, Exhibit B, and this work order document using an integration that we built in the backend. Technically, this whole process is about 30,000 lines of code in Deluge that we developed for this integration. So it's a pretty complex kind of integration. Now, what happens is that at this point, usually the provider needs to get paid to start working on it. So at this point, we are actually building an integration at this point. But what happens is that as soon as a bill has been created for a vendor called Boosted CRM in the system, this is another part of integration that is very interesting. So I have Boosted CRM here as a vendor. So sorry, click on vendors and Boosted here. So I'm just gonna click on it and I see, okay, now transactions, and I have a bill already here. So I can use the same bill actually. This integration is being built, so it's not completed. That's why I need to replace this ID with this work order ID so that it works for this record. But that's from a previous test. So that's go to Zoho Books, replace this, and save it. This bill is for 50% of the payment of that work order, $8,250. So now if I go back to the record and if I click on the bills associated with this work order, I can see that this bill is right here and shows you that how much of this bill has been paid to the vendor to start the work. And now if I scroll back up, you see that 50% of the burn rate has been paid in terms of the money, and now 90% time remaining these projects. And this has to do with the start and end date. It is 93%, and this has to do with the payment. So if I add another bill here, then I can see, basically how much, if it's paid in total or not. Now, there are deliverables actually created. For these deliverables, we actually in Zoho project, we create under projects, we create tasks for what needs to be delivered for this work order. So you can see deliverable 1, deliverable 2, physical inventory and functional review of all tasks. So this is one thing that you can see here. Another thing we created is that on the home page, we have created basically this dashboard that has a link to that account, has a link to that worker, has a link to the Zoho project. And if there is any issue with this, and this is the time remaining and burn rate right here. So now you can see, let me just go back so I don't need this. Here, let's say I have a problem with function review. Something is not working. So I'm just going to add a subtask, say issue found with functionality of the blueprint, right? So as soon as I save this subtask, I can assign it to whoever I want in the system and save it. Add this subtask. When I add this subtask, if I go back to the home page and refresh, here on the dashboard, it will says that one issue has been found and is being worked on. So it's very, visibility is very high throughout these systems to tell the management that, okay, what is being wrong, what is being worked on. So I have to go back and fix that problem and close that subtask that was assigned to me, so that if I go back and I say, okay, these issues have been found or fixed or whatever, so you see that, okay, issues been found, that there is no zero issues available. At some point, these tasks will be closed and the functional and physical reviews for deliverable 1 and 2 will be also closed. So basically, the status of deliverables will be accepted. And as I go back in here, I can see that now there's no work order here because there's not open anymore. So if I go to the work order itself, I can see that the status of the work order is completed, and also the deliverable status is deliverables, both of them are accepted. So this is pretty much the end of the process. And here's the KPI. So how much time it take who to do what in the system. It's all here. And this could be a dashboard for all work orders for the management to take a look at the KPI and understand what's going on. So these are the automations that we could make very easy flow from the beginning to end of your flow, and managing everything in terms of payment, task assignments, projects, movement, and progress. So I hope you like it. And if you need any kind of automations to be built for you, we will be happy to take care of that for you. Thank you so much for your time and have a nice day.